Welcome to the Smartacus Quiz 2022, the Hindustan Times National Interschool Quiz.
Hello and a warm welcome to each and every one of you assembled here today. We are here for Smartacus 2022, the Hindustan Times National Interschool Quiz for Indian students between the grades of 5 and 12. We started off all around the country with more than 19,000 participants who took part in a cutthroat elimination cum selection round. From that round, we identified the top 16 school teams from each of the 4 zones: North, South, East, and West. In the days leading up to today, we have seen these teams fight it out tooth and nail in knockout matches, determined to let only one team advance into the next phase of the zonal rounds. And without any further ado, I want you to meet the 2 schools who will fight it out in today's match. Let's show you today's schools. On one side of the table, we have Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School, Chandigarh. And facing them across the table will be the team from Shimla, St. Edward's School, Shimla. First, we will have the team from Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School, Chandigarh, beginning with their youngest member. Please unmute yourself one by one and give us a short introduction.
Good evening, my name is Anika Verma. I'm from class 8 from Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School, Chandigarh. Hobbies include reading, writing, and listening to songs.
I'm Ananya, I'm from 10th, and my hobbies include painting, writing, and reading.
I'm Ashita, and I'm from grade 10th. I'm really passionate about science, and I'm also a Bharatnatyam dancer. I've been learning Bharatnatyam since 5 years.
Those then were the 3 members from Sacred Heart Convent, Chandigarh. Let me go across to your opponents for today. St. Edward's School, Shimla. Beginning with your youngest member, one by one, can you give us a short introduction?
Hi, my name is Tavya. I study in grade 7. My hobbies include playing football, quizzing, as well as debating.
And my name is Samrat Singh, and today I am representing St. Edward's School, Shimla. I'm a class 11th commerce student, and my interests are inclined towards business quizzes and stuff related to the stock market. I like to watch series and movies of entrepreneurs to learn how they build quite successful companies and to learn from their experiences and mistakes. I've always been fascinated by the various intra-school and inter-school quizzes, as they are a great opportunity to learn new things, improve our social interaction, and to enhance our knowledge. Thank you, and I wish all the best to the participants.
My name is Vaishchan. I am in grade 12 and I like to play sports and read books.
The captain for Sacred Heart is Anika Verma, also the junior most member. Facing her for the toss shall be Samrat Singh from St. Edward's. Anika, your call. What would you like to choose, heads or tails?
She's saying heads.
All right, she's saying heads. Let me flip the coin. Heads it is. That was a good call. But prior to that, as always, it is my duty to explain the rules by which today's quiz shall be played. Let us take you straight away into the gameplay. These then are your topics. The person going first from the team which won the toss, Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School, Chandigarh, shall be their captain and youngest member, Anika Verma. Anika, please unmute yourself and tell me which of the topics on the grid would you like to play?
I choose fantasy RPGs, games and video games.
Fantasy role-playing games from games and video games. Let's open up the box of video games. The question is, on the death of the alliteratively named inventor of which fantasy tabletop role-playing game did xkcd.com, the comic strip, run this strip? Games of this particular RPG have been known to last for weeks, if not longer, and they use custom-made polyhedral dice. The hint is, it is a 3-word name, blank and blank. Your time starts now.
say Ananya Gupta.
Can you take a guess, please? 5 seconds to go.
She's saying Ananya.
All right, time is up. Ananya, I think you have been chosen. What do you want to guess?
Dungeons and Dragons?
Dungeons and Dragons, says Ananya. Let's take a look at the answer and see if she gets points. Dungeons and Dragons is correct. This was a tribute to the creator of Dungeons and Dragons, Gary Gygax, when he passed away. Go back to Anika and ask her the second question. The highest selling fantasy role-playing game ever. It debuted in 1987 and is currently in its 16th edition. It has influenced almost every fantasy game since it started, including The Witcher and Dragon Age, with the 7th series of this game widely considered the most influential video game of all time. Simply name this game and there is a hint. The two-word name of the game is an anagram or a rearrangement of the letters falsify and ant. And your time starts now. You have 30 seconds. 20 of them are still remaining.
Dragon Strength.
Dragon something you said, right?
Dragon Strength.
Dragon Strength. No, not Dragon Strength. Let me ask your two teammates. Yes, go ahead.
I'll try. I guess falsification?
Falsification. No, one though it's one word and we want two. We will go across to your opponents for the first steal of the match. Seconds beginning now. St. Edwards, which one of you wants to take this?
I'll go for a wild guess. Is it Tekken Bloodline?
Oh, some bloodline. No, there is no B in falsify and ant. No one gets points. Let's take a look at the answer. If you rearrange the letters of falsify and ant, you get Final Fantasy. That brings us to the end of role-playing games from the world of games and video games for Sacred Heart. We will now go across to the youngest member from St. Edward's School, Shimla, Stavya Pandit. Please tell me which topic would you like to play?
I'll take Wild versus Tame, Flora and Fauna.
Stavya says, I'm going to take Wild versus Tame in Flora and Fauna. Let's take a look. What 5-letter word, an anagram of the letters leafar, L-E-A-F-R, is used to describe an animal that has returned to the wild state after being domesticated for some time? And your time starts now. It's a rearrangement of the letters L-E-A-F-R. It's a 5-letter word. 3 seconds to go, Stavya.
Pass.
All right, let's go across to Vansh and Samrat. 15 seconds beginning now. Who wants to take this?
So even we would like to pass the question. So no idea.
No idea? All right. Moving back across the table to from St. Edward's to Sacred Heart. 15 seconds beginning now. Which one of you wants to take this?
May I answer?
Yes, Ananya, go for it.
The answer is feral.
Ananya says the answer is feral. Let's take a look at the answer slide. She pulls back a point on the steal for her team. These are called feral animals. If you have a pet or a domesticated animal and for some reason they run away or they get lost and they learn to survive by themselves in a state of the wild, they are called feral animals. 1 point to Sacred Heart. We go back to St. Edward's for the second of the questions on wild versus tame coming up now. What land animals, quite logically, have the longest gestation periods, by which we mean the time taken from conception until the baby is born, with pregnancies often as long as 660 days, almost 2 years. Your time starts now. This is for Stavya.
I don't have any idea of a land animal, so I'll go with elephant.
You will go with elephant. He doesn't have an idea of any kind of land animal, so he goes for the biggest one he can think of. Let's take a look at the answer. Super thinking, Stavya. Elephant it is. Elephants have gestation periods as long as 22 months, lasting up to 660 days. 2 points to St. Edward's to wrap up the topic on wild versus tame. Let us go back to their opponents, the team which won the toss. Ananya, which topic would you like to play?
Sir, I'll like to choose Once Upon a Time literature.
Once Upon a Time literature. She likes writing stories and reading stories, if I remember correctly. Let's
Yes.
open that box. Ananya, let us show you your first question from Once Upon a Time. In the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, what was placed between 20 mattresses and 20 eider downs? Eider downs are fluffy feather beds on which the supposedly true princess spent the night. And your time starts now.
Sir, I guess hair.
A single human hair. That's a good guess, but not the one we are looking for. We will go to your teammates, Anika and Ashita. Which one of you wants to take this?
I'll answer. I think it's P.
Ashita goes first. She says, I think it's a P. Let's take a look at the answer. Ashita saves a point for her team. Let us go back to Ananya and ask her her second question. I want you to fill in the blank from this, which is the name of a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Tonight, my plans I make. Tomorrow, the baby I take. The queen will never win the game, for blank is my name. And there is a hint. The one-word answer, which is the name of that imp that you see in the picture, is an anagram of the letters Mr. Stinkiest Pull. And your time starts now, Anand.
Sir, I would like to pass this question.
All right, you're not even taking the 30 seconds. We will respect your decision. Going across once again to Anika and Ashita. 15 seconds beginning now. Who wants to take this? The main point of the story is to guess the name of this imp. Time is up. We will go across to your opponents for a steal attempt. St. Edward's School Shimla, you are up. Which one of the three of you wants to take a crack at this?
I would like to guess.
Oh, go ahead, Samrat.
Sir, is the name of the elf Tinkit?
Tinkit. Okay, not Tinkit. That won't contain all the letters from Mr. Stinkiest Pull. Let's take a look at the answer and see what his name was. This is Rumpelstiltskin, the imp who demanded the firstborn baby of the princess in exchange for teaching her how to spin gold from common straw grass. We go across to the second of the choices for St. Edward's School Shimla. Samrat Singh, which of the topics remaining on the grid would you like to play for yourself?
So I would like to go with economics and economists.
Let us open up the box of business. The first question coming up now. The two-word metaphor or phrase, invisible hand, was first used by this world-famous economist way back in 1776, coincidentally the same year in which the United States achieved independence. According to him, it represented the unseen forces that guide a free market economy. According to this thinker, it is the pursuit of individual self-interest that enables society based on the division of labor to function. I just want you to tell me the name of this economist and philosopher, and there is a hint. He is also known as the father of capitalism. And your time starts now, Samrat.
So I would like to pass this question to my teammates.
Would like to pass this question? We will respect your decision. Stavya and Vansh, you are up. 15 seconds. Who wants to take this?
I guess we will also be passing this question. No idea.
Let us go to the team from Sacred Heart, the all-girls team. 15 seconds beginning now. Who wants to take this question?
I'll take the question, sir. Is the answer Adam Smith?
Ananya says, is the answer Adam Smith? Only the answer slide can tell us that story. Let's take a look at the answer. Adam Smith, it is Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations, or simply Wealth of Nations as we commonly know it. 1 point, a wealth of points to you, Ananya, and your team. That brings us to the second question on economics and economists. Let us ask that question to Samrat coming up now. The ideas of John Maynard Keynes were most famously presented in his magnum opus book called The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. These ideas formed the basis for US President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal, a program which was created to deal with what famous economic crisis in the 1930s? I'm looking for a 2-word or a 3-word answer. Your time starts now.
Sir, I would like to answer the question as the Great Economic Depression or the Great Depression.
He says, I will choose the Great Depression or the Great Economic Depression of the 1930s. Let's take a look at the answer. The Great Depression is correct. Very well done, Samrat. That brings us to the end of 4 specialized topics chosen by 2 members from each of the 2 teams. Both these teams have managed to come and meet each other exactly where they started out from, which is tied on the same score. 4 points apiece to both of these teams. Ashita, which topic would you like to play?
I'll take airports.
She will take airports. I hope your flight of points takes off with this topic. Ashita, let's open up the box of airports for you. The first of your questions, Ashita, on airports is this. This is the airport of the British city of Liverpool. Which world-famous popular musician is the airport named after, who was once a member of the world-famous band The Beatles? The sketch of this person's face and the line below that name are a big clue to his name. Your time starts now, Ashita. World-famous...
I'll pass.
Yes,
Right.
go ahead. No?
No,
All right.
I'll pass to my teammates.
Respect your decision. Going across to Anika and Ananya. Which one of you wants to take this?
Is it John Lennon?
All right. And who was John Lennon, Ananya?
He was a member of the Beatles.
All right. And anything else you want to share about John Lennon that you know, since you've taken such a good guess?
No, sir. I just heard about him that he's in the Beatles, so I took a guess.
All right. Let's take a look at the answer slide. John Lennon it is. Above us only sky is a memorable line from his song called Imagine. 1 point saved for her team by Ananya. We shall go back to Ashita to ask her another question on airports. This small barren island called Cheklapkot was enlarged to 4 times its original size by land reclamation. And the new airport, for which famous territory or special region, was built here in 1998 after this territory was taken over by China from the British. Your time, Ashita, starts now. 18 seconds to go. Big clues there. The name should give you an idea of where this place is. 3 seconds to go, Ashita.
I'll pass to my team.
All right. Anika and Ananya, 15 seconds beginning now. Who wants to take this? Anika, Ananya, anybody wants to give me the name of the place? All right, you pass as well. We shall respect that. Moving across to St. Edward's School, Shimla. Which one of you boys wants to take a crack at this territory?
So I would like to guess.
Go, Samrat.
Sir, I would like to guess as Tibet.
Tibet. China got Tibet from the British. Not really. Let's take a look at the answer. This is Hong Kong. The airport for Hong Kong is situated on that reclaimed island. Only one topic of individual play remains, and that shall be played by Vansh Chauhan. Vansh, for St. Edward's, which of the 3 topics remaining on the grid would you like to play?
I would like to play Olympics.
Vansh, your question number 1 on the Olympics is this. To commemorate their gold medal winning feat, in which team sport from the 2016 Olympics did the Fiji government issue these currency notes in the very unusual denomination of $7? I need a specific sport as your answer. Your time starts now. Last 5 seconds, Vansh.
But I would like to pass.
All right. Your time is up. We will pass to Stavya and Samrat. Which one of you wants to take this? Your clock is ticking.
Sir, rugby.
Let's take a look at the answer. Lovely answer by the team captain. Samrat saves a point for his team. It is rugby sevens or rugby. For now, I'm going to go back to Vansh and ask him his second question on the Olympics. This is American swimmer Johnny Weissmuller, one of the greatest of all time, who won 5 gold medals in swimming in the Olympics and was the first man to swim the 100 meters in less than a minute. But he is best known to us for playing a very famous jungly role in movies, which mostly required him, and this is a big clue, that role mostly required him to wear even lesser clothes than when he was swimming. Your time starts now. This is only for Vansh.
I would like to pass.
All right, passing to Stavya and Samrat. Who wants to take this?
Sir, I would go.
Go, Samrat.
Sir, I think he would be playing the Mowgli in the Jungle Book.
Let's go across to the girls from Sacred Heart. Anika, Ananya, Ashita, which one of you wants to take this and what's your guess going to be?
Tarzan.
Ashita says she thinks it is Tarzan. Let's take a look at whether her logic is on track. Tarzan it is, that's 1 point. I think the smile on Ashita's face says it all. That brings us to the end of all 6 specialized topics. For now, we enter my favorite part of this quiz, which is always the team play. We shall go back to the girls from Sacred Heart, Chandigarh, and ask them 5 seconds quickly to discuss and come up with a topic which the 3 of you would like to play as your team play specialized topic.
So we choose early photographs from art.
All right. Let us open up the box of art. Early photographs is the topic. Let's show you your first question. In spite of the fact that it was a busy Paris street with many people coming and going, many horse carriages, many crowd, think of how photographs used to be taken or what the technology was in those days, and tell me why at the end of this photograph is only one man, that guy getting his shoes polished, visible in the photograph. And your time starts now.
I think that it is because that there was and related of Paris.
What is your final answer?
You were not very audible, but I think if he's getting his shoes polished, he must be rich. So maybe photographs were taken only of rich people. A very wild guess.
All right, that's a nice guess, but that's not the answer we were looking for. In fact, this guy was just taking the photograph. We will go across to St. Edward's School, Shimla. You can discuss with each other 15 seconds beginning now. What's the answer I'm looking for?
Sir, I would like to take a guess.
Go ahead, Samrat, all yours.
Maybe it was early morning and the person was going to his office or some work, so he thought to have his shoes polished.
No, I've already told you that it is a busy Paris street, and even when the photograph was being taken, lots of people were coming and going, and there were many horse carriages which were coming and going, and so on. Let's take a look at the answer slide and I shall explain. In the early days, the camera was a very primitive instrument. You had to open the lid of the camera and expose the film at one time for 4 to 5 minutes in order for the photograph to be taken. And only if you remained still would the camera capture your image. Since all the other people and the horse carriages and the crowd was moving throughout and they moved from one place to the other, the camera could not capture their images. But since this gentleman was stationary at one place throughout the 4 to 5 minutes that it took to expose the film, he was getting his shoes polished, so he couldn't really move. That is why his photograph got captured and is known as the first ever photo taken of a person. No one gets points, maybe slightly a little bit of a toughie. We will go back to the girls from Sacred Heart and ask them their second question on early photographs. Take a look at the image on the left. If you take a close look, it will give you a little bit of an idea of who is in the image. The question is, Homai Vyarawala was India's first woman photojournalist. Homai Vyarawala was India's first woman photojournalist. Take a look at the image and tell me which very famous important event was this photo taken of. In 1956 at the Nathula Pass on the India-China border. And the hint is, it shows someone crossing over into India from the side controlled by the Chinese. Your time starts now, Sacred.
Is it Dalai Lama? He crossed into India from the Chinese controlled side Tibet. So he could be. It could be.
Our final answer is escaping of Dalai Lama.
Their final answer is the escape of the Dalai Lama. Let's take a look if the girls have scored 2 points. Of course they have. This is the escape of the Dalai Lama who entered India. China invaded Tibet. Let us now go across to your opponents, the boys from St. Edward's School, Shimla. The only topic remaining on the grid, which is a specialized topic, is wars in southern Africa. From the pages of history, the sieges of Mafeking, Kimberley, and Ladysmith between 1899 and 1900 took place during what is known as the South African War. I want you to tell me what is the more common name of this war, referring to the two republics who faced off against the mighty British Empire. The hint is it's a two-word answer. The second word is war. Just fill in the blank for the first word. Your time starts now.
Could it be the Civil War? But I think that did happen in America, right? But there was still the British dominance over the blacks in Africa too. Just the Civil War.
Right? They say their final answer is the Civil War, but as Samrat rightfully pointed out, famous Civil War as we know it happened in America, not Southern Africa. Let us hop across to the girls from Sacred Heart, Chandigarh.
Sir, our final answer is Second Boer War or just Boer War.
All right, let's take a look at the answers. It is the Boer War because the two sides which were facing off against the British were called the Boer republics. There were two kinds of Boers there, and Boer War or Boer War is what we were looking for. That brings us to the second question on wars, which is for the team from St. Edward's. This war of 1879, notable for several particularly bloody battles, including the Battle of Isandlwana, followed by the defense of Rorke's Drift, was fought by the British against which kingdom, named for a famous ethnic group or tribe of southern Africa? There's a hint. It was called the Anglo-Blank War. Just fill in the blank with a 4-letter word that we can also find towards the end of the NATO alphabet list. And remember, the alphabet list is simply A for Alpha, B for Bravo, C for Charlie, like that. You will find it towards the end of that list. What 4-letter word am I looking for, which is also the name of an African tribe? And your time starts now, St. Edward's. Think of a name of an African tribe, very famous tribe. Last 5 seconds, St. Edward's.
Anglo-Zambia War. I have no idea.
Okay, Stavya says Anglo-Zambia War, but he has no idea. That's not the answer I'm looking for, unfortunately. Going back to the girls from Sacred Heart. 15 seconds beginning now. What am I looking for?
Z is for Zulu.
Didi, yeah, I also think it's Zulu. Sir, our final answer is Anglo-Zulu War.
Your final answer is the Anglo-Zulu War because Z for Zulu would come right at the very end of the NATO list. And Zulu is also the name of a tribe in South Africa. I don't know. We'll have to let the answer slide tell us. Zulu from the Anglo-Zulu War is right. You pick up yet another point on the steal. That brings us to the end of all 8 specialized topics from the grid. Before we go on to the mystery boxes, beginning with the team winning the toss, it is my duty, as always, to tell you the scores. Have the boys from St. Edward's School, Shimla on 5 points. But at this moment, with a lead of 5 points, are the girls from St. Edward's Convent, Chandigarh with 10. The girls from Sacred Heart, which of the 2 mystery boxes would you like to play as a team?
Sir, I chose Mystery Box 2.
All right. In 1991, a 42-day military engagement codenamed Operation Desert Storm was the US-led response to Iraq's invasion of which oil-rich country in Western Asia that is situated at the very tip of the Persian Gulf? And your time starts now. Last 8 seconds.
Kuwait? Is it Kuwait?
Kuwait.
Ananya, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anika.
Sir, our final answer is Kuwait.
Let's take a look at the answer. Kuwait is correct. This was Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, and because it was so full of oil and the US wanted a say in how that oil got distributed, we had Operation Desert Storm, which lasted for quite some time. And for people of my generation, it was our first exposure to live images and videos of missiles meeting each other in the skies above Kuwait, right? 2 points to Sacred Heart. Let us show you your second question. Nick, N-I-C, meaning daughter of, is the female equivalent of which three-letter prefix seen in many Scottish surnames? It sounds exactly like the first part or prefix of the name of a world-famous fast food chain. And your time starts now.
Didi, I think from fast food, it's like McDonald's I was going for
Mac.
because in Scotland it's Mac as well.
So Mac.
Sir, our final answer is Mac.
Your final answer is Mac. The way it is Nick for daughters, it is Mac for sons or guys. 2 points on the trot. That's 4 points from 2 of your questions. Let us see if you can make it a hat trick, 3 in a row. Let's show you your third question. The P in the DTP vaccine stands for a bacterial infection that leads to violent bouts of coughing lasting typically for 100 days, and in many cases, it can be fatal. The fits are so severe sometimes that people vomit or even break some of their ribs with the violence of the cough, while infants typically cannot breathe. You can give me either of the 2 names for this disease. One of them begins with a P. Your time starts now.
It's pertussis or whooping cough.
Whooping cough.
Yeah. So our final answer is
that's-
pertussis or whooping cough.
And her team takes her lead. They say pertussis or whooping cough, which is their final answer. Let's take a look at the answer slide. Both are correct. I cannot give you points which are double the number of points for this question. 2 points is what you get. DTP stands for diphtheria, tuberculosis, and pertussis or whooping cough. Let us go across to the boys from St. Edward's, Shimla, and see if they can maximize this and make a fight for it. Boys, the only mystery box left for you is mystery box number 1. The first of your questions, St. Edward's, is this. Also called the Eternal City, which famous European capital city, legendarily founded by the brothers Romulus and Remus, was built on 7 hills, 3 of which are the Palatine, the Quirinal, and the Capitoline. And your time starts now.
Is it Rome or Paris?
Sir, our final answer is Rome.
Tamrat says our final answer is Rome. Remember, at the very beginning, one of their members did mention that it could be Paris as well, because Palatine, Quirinal, and Capitoline, to me, to an untrained eye, seem like very French-looking words. But I don't know. Let's take a look. Rome, named after Romulus, one of the brothers. 2 points is what St. Edward's will get. A very well thought out answer, boys. Well done. Let us see if you can make it 2 in a row with your second question. On the left, you will see an image of a very common spice. Which spice, which is used in the preparation of biryani and masala chai all over India, is this? It is also used extensively in Chinese cooking and in countries like Indonesia and Malaysia. Time has already started.
No, I'm quite confident that these are called starries. So, sir, our final answer is starries.
All right, your final answer is star anise or starries. Let's take a look. Star anise or chakrapool will get you points. I will use my discretion and give you points for that, because when it comes to masalas and spices, it leaves the best of us befuddled at times. The last of today's questions, going to the boys from St. Edward's, Shimla, is this. On the left, you will see an image of a beautiful city somewhere in this world. The city of St. Petersburg was known by what name between the years 1924 and 1991? That name honored a Russian leader, a world-famous Russian leader who is one of the greatest names in the history of communism. I don't want the name of the leader, Just tell me, what was St. Petersburg known as between 1924 and 1991? The time starts now.
Is it Stalin? I guess Joseph Stalin was the person.
So, sir, our final answer is Stalin.
Stalin would be the name of a leader. What could be the name of a city named after Stalin? How are Russian cities named? There is a very famous siege also in history, World War II. No? All right. Let's take a look. It was named after Lenin, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, Grad being the Russian word for town or city. Not Stalingrad, but Leningrad is what it was called between 1924 and 1991. That brings us to the end of all 8 specialized topics and the 2 mystery boxes between 2 teams from the north. Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School Chandigarh going toe-to-toe with the boys from St. Edward's School Shimla. At the end of this quiz, the scores tell a very telling story. Finishing up with a very creditable score of 9 points are the boys from St. Edward's School Shimla. Winning today's quiz with a score of 16 points, they really picked up speed in that final segment of the quiz, are the girls from Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School Chandigarh. For now, this is me, Meghasham Shirodkar, wishing all 6 students in today's quiz a very good evening. Thank you and God bless.